What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your stimulus check update for Sunday, August 15th. Yes, today is going to be specifically about the stimulus check. Are we going to get it? One of the questions I've been getting a lot lately or it's just some of them. What are the chances of a fourth stimulus check? Are we actually going to get an additional stimulus check? Are monthly stimulus checks even being considered? And what are the chances of us getting a $2,000 recurring stimulus check? These are a lot of the questions I keep getting asked here on this channel. So I want to address that in today's video, and specifically just about stimulus checks. Here's what we know. Right now, if unemployment benefits were to get extended, the chances of a stimulus check happening actually decreases. So even though unemployment benefits are being considered and are being talked about, there are more discussions on unemployment being extended as opposed to a stimulus check passing. Just keep that in mind. Also, the child tax credit payment extension. If this happens, the chances of stimulus checks passing, again, decreases. And just so you have an idea, the amount of people talking about the child tax credit payment extension, those are easily surpassed the amount of people are talking about the unemployment benefits being extended and the stimulus check. So those two things combined are getting less discussions than the child tax credit payments. And one other thing you need to be aware of is that the child tax credit payment extension is already included into the $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill, or also known as stimulus package. So keep that in mind, that these discussions, they will be ongoing. We are going to see more and more reports, more and more updates about what is actually happening, what lawmakers are discussing. But at this time, they are discussing stimulus checks. It's just not one of those things that is at the forefront of the discussions. Right now, it's all about children and families. That's the big one. Here's something else you need to know. Will we see a $1,000, $2,000, or possibly even a larger stimulus check? According to multiple experts, if we see another stimulus check, it would be for $1,000. It would not be $2,000. It would not be a recurring $2,000 monthly stimulus check. That is considered as too expensive. And it doesn't actually go to the right individuals, at least according to multiple reports. Again, we are now in August. This is August. Okay? So we're actually past the middle of the year. The problem with what is happening is if we go and give, and again, when I say we, I'm talking about all lawmakers, because whether Republicans vote for it and support this bill or not, chances are it's going to pass. Well, what we know is if we see this pass, okay, if we see that, okay, we have $3.5 trillion, we're going to get this bill passed. Here's what you need to keep in mind. Right now, Congress is looking at, when I say Congress, probably a very small portion of Congress, there's really only a handful of people, are discussing the fact that the lower income earners, they may have been lower income last year, but does that mean that they're lower income this year? And that's where more lawmakers are saying that this creates a very difficult situation, is how do we go and give the money to the people that truly need it? And this is where some say that we can put out a bill, change up the legislation so that, and put in the verbiage that if you were to make over $50,000 in 2021, you have to pay back that stimulus check. It's possible. So keep that in mind, that they are discussing different options and possibilities. Now, the highest possibility, the one priority that, or the one piece of legislation that has the highest possibility at this time is actually the earned income tax credit. And what we are hearing, what we have been hearing, is that more proposals for an increase to the earned income tax credit are going to come out. The latest one that we got was about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. That one was proposed at $8,000 per year, where you could make up to $90,000 per year in income. So that would have been a pretty substantial change. Now, one thing I just want to address is right now, if we see the earned income tax credit happen, we will actually get a payment increase of over $2,000 per year. Okay, over $2,000 per year. But then the other discussion is, and this is something that progressives are pushing for, is let's not just make this a one-year thing like the current child tax credit payments. Let's make this a permanent fixture. And so will we see it for maybe 4 years, maybe 5, maybe it'll be permanent? We don't know. All we know is that they are discussing different options. But as of right now, this is the most likely outcome, is seeing an earned income tax credit which is boosted up to $8,000, where you make up to $90,000 per year. So you are going to qualify as long as you make under $90,000. Great. That's what we need. But here's the other issue, and here's the other thing that's in the discussions. Will we make this an earned income tax credit payment advance, like we are seeing with the child tax credit payment advances? It's possible, and I addressed this a couple weeks ago as well, is there have been discussions on this. This is something that is in the discussions. Let's make this a monthly payment. Let's make this a monthly payment. Now, it's going to be a little bit harder for the IRS to really figure out who gets how much. However, it is going to be possible. It is something that's going to be a little more in-depth, but the IRS could do it according to multiple reports. The other issue is, if the IRS is going to take this on themselves, would they get additional funding as well in order to make sure they aren't being drugged back by other priorities like the income taxes, right? We've been seeing this for so long. Is the IRS has been so far behind. It's because they need more funding, but when they talk about additional funding to bring on more staff, it's not to fix the problem with the IRS, the income tax kind of backlog. It's actually to take those employees and now send them off to go after tax cheats. And so that's another issue. But right now, progressives are saying that they want to see those that received so little during the crisis, they want to see them get more stimulus. That's who they want to target, and that's who they want to get stimulus checks. But one other thing you need to keep in mind is as COVID cases continue to rise, the chances of stimulus comes back. There's a higher possibility we see additional stimulus checks. We see more rental assistance, mortgage assistance, nutrition assistance, right? We see all this different assistance programs come back. But the tricky situation right now, according to many, is that the debt ceiling, that has to be addressed before we see an additional push for stimulus checks. Stimulus checks just don't have that following, that backing like they once did. Even though the American people got about $3,200, $1,200, $1,200, $600, $1,400 checks, $3,200, it wasn't enough. I said this probably in the very beginning of the pandemic, when we were going to receive those $1,200 checks. I said it was not going to be enough. It was not going to be enough, and something was going to have to happen months later. Well, we didn't expect it was going to happen like 7 months later or 8 months later. We were expecting 2 to 3 months. We see an additional stimulus check. That was when we were talking about that second stimulus check. And then that passed in December. Got $600. And then a little bit after that, there was that talk of the third stimulus check, the $1,400 stimulus checks. That was what President Biden promised. $2,000 stimulus checks to every single American as long as Democrats won the Senate seats in Georgia, which they did. So what I can tell you is that this is starting to turn into a very interesting situation. Some lawmakers want to see more stimulus. Others say that no, this is no time for stimulus. The economy is overheating and things are becoming too expensive. We're seeing inflation. It's running rampant. Now, it's actually slowing down a little bit, but according to a few economists, the inflation concerns are slowing down because all the stimulus has pretty much worn off. All the stimulus has pretty much gone away. People have spent their money. And let me ask you this as well. Do you have any money left from your last stimulus check? Your $1,400 stimulus check? If you do, you're one of the very lucky few, because most people have spent their money. and they spent it within the first week. So let me just answer this question. Are we going to see a fourth stimulus check? In my opinion, yes, we will. However, it's most likely going to come as either an earned income tax credit or some other form of a tax credit, or it will be disguised as something else. Okay, maybe a survival payment. Maybe Congress will call it whatever they want to, but chances are it won't be called a stimulus check. Is it going to be for $1,000, $2,000, or even more? In my honest opinion, I believe it's going to be more than $2,000. I believe that if we see a stimulus check, it's going to come in the form of an earned income tax credit. That's what I truly believe. Now, will we see this as a monthly payment? That's the big question. And honestly, I don't know. I think it would be great if the earned income tax credits could be paid out monthly like the child tax credit payments. However, I think this could be a little bit more complicated, and it may take a little bit longer for the IRS to really figure this out. So my expectation is that no, we will not see monthly payments for the earned income tax credit, although I do think that would be more beneficial than a one-time payment when you file your taxes, because again, you have to go and file your taxes. And this is something that a lot of people don't do. A lot of people do not file their taxes. But this is also something that the Biden administration has been wanting. They want every single person to file taxes, whether you need to or not. However, that's not the case. Nobody is filing taxes if they don't need to, at least if they're not trying to get a stimulus check. So that's kind of where we're at this point. I do think more is coming. I do think we're going to see more updates very soon and more proposals within the next 2 to 3 weeks. By the beginning of September, I think we're going to have an ample amount of different proposals. But again, how good are they? Who do they actually benefit? These are things that we just don't know. So again, as I know more, I promise I will fill you in on all latest news and updates. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, if you could, go ahead, hit that like button. It really does help out the channel. Also, consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys on the next one.